Bears are not just fearsome creatures. They become explosive attacking forces when provoked. Every encounter in the wild opens up a breathtaking moment where their speed and power explode in an instant. In the deep forest or on the ice, a bear's charge always carries unpredictable ferocity. Prepare yourself, because the journey ahead will take you to the wildest moments of nature. On the flat ice of the Arctic Ocean, life moves slowly but intensely. Seals, especially ringed and bearded seals, are the polar bear's most important source of energy. A single adult seal can provide nearly 100 pounds of fat, enough to sustain the bear for weeks, so every hunt is vital. On a chilly morning, below 14 degrees Fahrenheit, a ringed seal rests near the mouth of a breathing cave, where it must surface for oxygen. The seal is alert, eyes half open, its body pressed against the ice. Although dependent on the sea, it faces constant danger from above. Not far away, a polar bear was approaching. It moved very lightly on the ice, minimizing the noise. Bears can hold their breath for more than 2 minutes and swim silently under the water to approach their prey from a direction that is out of sight. Every step was calculated with almost absolute patience. The bear stopped when there were only a few meters left. The wind blew in the favorable direction, carrying the scent away from the seal. A moment of silence prevailed, but even the slightest movement of the ice would alert the seal. If detected early, the seal could just slide quickly into the sea and disappear in a few seconds. This time, the bear chose to wait. It approached slowly, bit by bit. The seal did not notice anything. In the moment when the seal raised its head to sniff, the bear made the final approach. The ice trembled slightly. A moment later, the northern sea was quiet again. Whether the outcome was success or failure, the scene clearly showed the harshness of the life cycle here. Bears rely on patience and subtle tactics. Seal relies on escape speed and survival instinct. On the Arctic ice, every moment decides the future of the strongest in this cold region. One morning on the vast prairies of Montana, a herd of bison moves slowly through the fresh grass. Adults stand nearly 6 feet tall at the shoulder, weigh up to 2,000 pounds, and can run more than 35 miles per hour, making them the largest and fastest mammals in North America. They live in tight-knit herds, but young or isolated individuals are always at risk when bears appear. In the spring, when bison give birth, bears often watch from afar. They patiently lurk where bison drink or feed, waiting for the moment a calf strays from its mother. This is a rare opportunity for bears, as adult bison are too strong and too large to confront head-on. One peaceful afternoon, a bison calf strayed a few paces from the herd. Its awkward gait made it easy to spot. At the edge of the forest nearby, a bear advanced slowly, carefully observing the distance between the calf and its mother. The bear knew that if it got the timing wrong, it could be seriously injured by a bison headbutt or stomp. As the bear became more visible, the mother bison reacted immediately, head lowered, shoulders raised, body leaning forward in a strong defensive posture. The bear took one step, the mother bison took two. The tension in the air was like a tight rope being pulled. The bear was forced to retreat, knowing that the unity and defense of the bison herd exceeded its advantage. The moment clearly demonstrated the contrast in nature. Bears rely on opportunity and patience, while bison rely on size, strength, and numbers. In the North American grasslands, this confrontation does not always end in the victory of the predator. Sometimes the unity of the bison herd and the strong instinct to protect their cubs becomes an impenetrable barrier. In the open valleys of Alaska, where salmon gather in shallow streams, male bears often clash over territory and food sources. These confrontations are familiar, but always carry a palpable tension. When two adult bears enter a river, they immediately stand on their hind legs, forming a powerful confrontation. Low growls ring out as a warning. Within seconds, the two are charging at each other in decisive movements. Claws and body strength are used to test the opponent's endurance. The fight is short but fierce, leaving deep scratches and wounds that will become permanent scars. Eventually, one begins to back away, breathing heavily and its posture destabilizing. The other stands firm, taking just one more step to confirm victory. The loser flees the area, leaving control of the territory and food source to the stronger. In nature, order is established through such moments, decisive, brief, and based entirely on real strength. One morning in the humid forests of North America, an adult bull elk steps out from the edge of the woods. It stands nearly 5 feet tall at the shoulder, weighs up to 700 pounds, and carries nearly 4-foot-long horns that symbolize its post-mating power. But the rut has weakened its body, slowed its breathing, and taken away its usual sure-footed stride. At the edge of the lake, the bull elk paused to catch its breath. The water reflected its powerful image, but also its fatigue. In the distance, a grizzly bear appeared, advancing with steady steps. Bears often hunted large moose when they had the chance, especially when their prey was exhausted from the time of energy consumption. The bull elk raised its head, sensing the approaching danger. It turned toward the lake as a familiar reflex. However, exhaustion slowed it down. The bear closed the distance, moving steadily and confidently. As the two creatures entered the shallow water, the lake's surface rippled slightly. After only a short while, the bull elk no longer had the strength it had before. The water gradually returned to calm, leaving the bear's silent silhouette. The familiar outcome of nature appeared. The stronger creature continued to survive, while the one that had reached its limit became the source of energy to maintain the cycle of survival in the North American mountains and forests. In the tundra and deep forests of North America, grizzly bears and wolves share territory, where food scarcity often leads to conflict. Wolves are intelligent, highly social animals. Bears have large muscles, a bite force of nearly 975 pounds per square inches, and remarkable endurance. One quiet afternoon, a bear was eating the remains of an animal in the middle of the forest. The scent of the meat quickly attracted about 10 wolves. They did not attack immediately, but spread out in an arc, emitting low growls to probe. This was a familiar tactic, to put psychological pressure and distract the bear's attention. The bear stood upright on its hind legs, roaring loudly and displaying its strength as a warning. However, the wolf pack kept its distance, moving continuously to harass. The tug-of-war took place in tense silence. The wolf was patient. The bear held its ground. When the bear suddenly turned sharply and charged towards a nearby wolf, the pack immediately dispersed, not because of fear, but because they understood that the bear's direct strength was too great. They gradually retreated, then retreated into the forest. On the ground covered with footprints, the bear continued to eat the remaining prey. The confrontation ended without the loser being injured. This is just a familiar slice of nature. Strength versus strategy. Each species playing its role in the wild balance of North America. On a humid morning in the Alaskan swamps, an adult moose paced slowly among the tall reeds. It stood nearly 7 feet tall at the shoulder. Weighed more than 1,500 pounds, and had long legs capable of delivering powerful kicks that could seriously injure any predator. It was a resilient northern animal, alert to any movement around it. Grizzly bears rarely have success confronting adult moose because of the size difference and unfavorable terrain. Only when a young moose is separated from the herd or an individual is weak do they have a chance. At noon, a young moose wandered near a lake. Its unsteady gait made it easy to notice. In the distance, a bear watched silently, weighing each step. The mother moose quickly recognized the danger. Her stance changed immediately. Her ears perked up, her body leaned forward. It was a moose's instinct to protect her young with unflinching strength. As the bear advanced, the mother responded with a powerful lunge, forcing the bear to stop. The atmosphere became tense, then quickly calmed as the bear retreated. The confrontation was brief but clear. In this wild land, the predator does not always win. There are moments when maternal instinct becomes the greatest force of nature. Through 7 survival journeys, the bear's strength is revealed not only in its fierce attacks, but also in its patience and sharp instincts against each opponent. Each confrontation shows a different slice of nature, where speed, strategy, and determination blend together. From the deep forests of North America to the icy Arctic, bears always enter the game with a calm and powerful demeanor. And the creatures they encounter also have their own abilities, creating an unbreakable balance. In that wild vortex, only those who understand their own strength can continue to stand firm in the vastness of nature. In the deep forest, where there are no signs or fences, every creature knows its place. And when the bear appears, the world around it goes quiet, as if stepping aside. It doesn't need to prove its strength. It doesn't need to make a sound. Just one step from the bear is enough to shift the order of the entire food chain. In North America's wild landscape, the grizzly bear stands as a symbol of quiet strength. When it rises on its hind legs, a fully grown male can reach over 8 feet tall and weigh close to 800 pounds. Its thick, brown-gray fur covers a powerful frame that moves with surprising control. The bear doesn't rush. It moves carefully, almost silently, as if fully aware that strength doesn't need to be shown unless absolutely necessary. Its paws, nearly a foot wide, and claws up to 4 inches long are not made for fighting, but for survival digging, flipping rocks, foraging for roots or insects. Though omnivorous, a bear in summer can consume over 80 pounds of food daily. From berries to carrion, from salmon to young deer, everything becomes fuel for building fat to survive the long winter ahead. It's not greed, it's instinct. Survival demands preparation. A grizzly's sense of smell is 2,000 times stronger than a human's. It can detect scent from miles away, even when the wind doesn't cooperate. This is how it always knows where to go next. The grizzly is more than a predator. It's a key part of the ecosystem, a balancing force. Its power doesn't come from speed or violence, but from presence. It knows when to advance and when to remain still. In North America's vast ecosystems, gray wolves are among the most organized predators. A typical pack of 6 to 12 wolves hunts using sound signals and body language. From howls that gather the group to eye contact and sideways runs that direct strategy. Unlike bears, wolves rely on teamwork. When they face a bear, they rarely attack head-on. Instead, they circle, bark, and keep their distance, applying mental pressure and trying to disorient their opponent. But bears don't rattle easily. When full or uninterested in conflict, a bear may simply stand still, turn its back, or lie down, showing no concern. Yet when truly threatened, it can strike back with a sudden, powerful blow or a roar that makes the entire pack retreat. There have been reports where bears, when pushed too far, suddenly lunge at the alpha wolf, breaking the pack's formation and forcing them to flee. But sometimes the bear chooses to retreat, not in defeat, but because saving energy is wiser than chasing an unnecessary win. A bear-wolf encounter isn't always a battle. It's a dance of instincts and strategy, where both sides understand their limits and survive by respecting each other's strength. In the frozen marshlands of Alaska and deep Canadian lakes, the moose is the largest herbivore in North America, standing up to 7 feet tall at the shoulders and weighing around 1,500 pounds. It's a muscular giant crowned with antlers that can span 6 feet wide. Moose mainly feed on aquatic plants and are strong swimmers, crossing icy lakes for miles, though they appear slow. A kick from their hind legs can deliver a force of up to 1,000 pounds per square inches, enough to scare off most predators. Bears rarely target adult moose. They typically go after calves in spring or weak individuals in winter. But when two giants meet, one fierce and persistent, the other massive and unyielding, the encounter becomes a tense test of survival. Bears approach with caution. They watch from a distance, waiting for a moment of weakness. But if the moose is protecting its calf, it becomes extremely dangerous. Sometimes the bear backs off, not out of fear, but out of wisdom, knowing that even a small injury can cost it an entire winter of hunger and suffering. Most bear-moose confrontations don't end in violence. There's stalking, a few charges, then hesitation. Both sides understand that in the wild, survival is victory enough. Bears are not just omnivores. They're opportunistic hunters, using patience, timing, and terrain to survive. One of the most difficult prey is the bison. On wide grasslands, bears often target the young easier to separate from their mothers. When that happens, the attack is fast and decisive. Along salmon streams, bears gather in large numbers. Fights for fishing spots can be intense and sometimes funny. Young cubs learn to hunt through trial and error, often slipping or missing fish, but it's how instinct is passed on. In Rocky Mountains, bears have been seen chasing mountain goats, but the terrain is treacherous. Bears sometimes slip and fall, giving up the chase. These moments show that raw strength can't always beat the land itself. Another hunting tactic involves forcing bull moose into deep water. The bear uses its weight and endurance to keep the prey submerged until it suffocates. This isn't a quick strike. It's a test of endurance, one the bear often wins through patience. At Yellowstone, bear-moose chases can leave observers breathless. A bear can reach speeds of 35 miles per hour, the moose around 30. That small gap decides life or death in seconds. Sometimes the hunt ends in silence. A bear spots a caribou calf, waits, stalks, but never gets close enough. When both calves escape, the bear quietly turns and eats berries near the forest edge. Not every hunt ends in blood. Sometimes, failure is just another part of nature's cycle. In the western forests and rocky ranges of North America, the mountain lion, also called the cougar, is a powerful solitary hunter, measuring up to 8 feet including the tail, and capable of sprinting at 50 miles per hour. It moves like a shadow through the trees. Its tan coat helps it blend into dry terrain and dense woodland. A single cougar's territory can stretch over 150 square miles, especially in places like Colorado and Utah. Though it lives alone, it stays on high alert, especially when it has young to protect. Encounters between bears and cougars are rare, but when food is scarce or territories overlap, clashes can happen. In most cases, the bear holds the advantage with its larger size, greater weight, and stamina. Still, cougars are not easy prey. They avoid head-on fights. Instead, they use the terrain, cliffs, tree trunks, and slopes to their advantage. A quick strike followed by retreat is their typical strategy, inflicting small wounds before pulling back to protect their young. A bear may give chase, but it's not easy to win on complicated ground. Across the vast lands of Alaska and the snowy plateaus of Montana, each grizzly bear holds its own territory, sometimes stretching hundreds of square miles. But in a world without fences, boundaries often exist only in memory. When facing an intruder, a bear doesn't rush to use its claws. It stands tall, growls deeply, and moves forward with slow, deliberate force. Around 80% of these encounters end without a fight, just a display of power, followed by silent retreat. In such harsh environments, conserving energy is instinct. Sometimes winning means not having to fight at all. Bears have long-term memory. They remember smells, growls, and the behavior of past opponents. At times, they even choose to avoid confrontation when they recall the pain of a previous clash. One unique behavior is how they treat bear mothers with cubs. When a female walks with her young, she's often given the right of way, not out of fear, but from an instinctive recognition of motherhood. Even in a world that seems emotionless, there's room for biological empathy. Morning mist blankets the Alaskan marshes. A massive bull moose approaches the water's edge, weighing over 680 kilograms, with antlers spreading nearly 6 feet wide, a symbol of vigilance and strength. From afar, a grizzly has been watching every step. The bear doesn't strike impulsively. It knows the terrain, the muddy ground where the moose may lose balance, the shifting wind that conceals its scent. For minutes, it stands motionless, patient as stone, waiting for the perfect moment. Instinct and calculation merge as silence becomes a weapon. When the time arrives, the grizzly bursts from the swamp's edge, using the slick ground to make the moose stumble. Its weight and speed combine in a single decisive strike. The moose struggles, but gravity and soft earth betray it. In the heavy breath of the forest, the battle ends swiftly. It's not brutality, but evolutionary intelligence that decides victory. The grizzly, both hunter and strategist, proves that in nature, strength only matters when paired with patience and understanding. When salmon return, Alaskan rivers turn into shimmering ribbons of silver. Thousands swim upstream to spawn a journey written into their species. At the waterfalls, the grizzly waits, entering a feeding state called hyperphagia to store fat for the winter. The sound of rushing water blends with the predator's breath. The bear stands firm, eyes locked on movement below, When the moment arrives, it strikes swift, precise, decisive. A salmon leaps from the falls, and in that instant, an ancient ritual of life is renewed, one that has endured for millennia. After each meal, the remains of salmon and nutrients sink into the soil under the bear's steps. From there, the forest feeds, trees grow, and life continues. The grizzly is not only a hunter, but a bridge between river and forest, returning energy to the earth and embodying the endless cycle of nature. At the end of a long day, as the last light fades behind the pine trees, the bear remains quiet. No one sees it, no one hears it, but everyone knows it's there. Behind every hunt, every conflict, every silent step is an ancient instinct. It doesn't need to win to survive. It just needs to never be forgotten. And the bear has never been forgotten.